الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين ومن اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. To proceed, today's lesson we will speak بإذن الله تعالى about a very important subject, and that is الجمع. Al-Jam'u. And what does Al-Jam'u mean, Ya Muhammad?
Plural.
The plural. So we have already spoken about Al-Mufradu. Al-Mufradu,
Singular.
the single or the singular. Right? Then we spoke about Al-Muthanna, which is
Dual.
the dual. So today we will speak about al-jam'u, which is the plural, and then we will have completed our discussion regarding the types of number associated with an ismun. Right? Because there are only three number of noun, or three numbers of noun, and that is al-mufrad, al-muthanna, and al-jam'u. So al-jam'u, the plural, is divided into two categories. The first of them is al-mudhakkar. Al-mudhakkaru. And al-mudhakkaru means the male, right? So therefore the second type is, Ya Muhammad,
Female.
al-mu'annathu, the female. Right? It's good to remember these terms. Right? So al-jam'u is the plural, al-mudhakkaru is the male plural. Well, the male, but relating to al-jam'u, the plural, al-mu'annathu is the female. Right? And then similarly, both al-mudhakkaru and al-mu'annathu, they have two types. The first is called as-salimu, which is the sound. We'll write that. The sound. And we'll explain that in a moment. And the other type is at-taksiru. At-taksiru. So both of these types, they have a salimu and a taksiru. Right? Yeah, Muhammad, it's not complicated. You don't need to look so worried. Broken, sorry. Yeah. Glad you reminded me. Broken. And we will explain this all in a moment. So, to summarize therefore, the plural in Arabic is called al-jam'u. It is of two types, al-mudhakkar and al-mu'annathu. And what that means is that an ismun, a noun, as we know, can either be male or female, al-mudhakkaru or al-mu'annathu. Right, so that's straightforward. So al-mudhakkar, an example of an ismun which is mudhakkarun is any ismun which is mudhakkar, babun, right, a door, that is al-mudhakkaru, the male. And an example of an ismun which is female is sayaratun, right, which is al-mu'annathu. Now both of those two types, of course, their plural, the actual form of their plural will either be a salimu or it will be a taksiru. Right? It will either be a salimu or a taksiru, meaning it will be the sound male plural, or it will be the broken female. Sorry, either it will be the sound male plural, or it will be the broken male plural, or it will be the sound female plural, or it will be the broken female plural. Right?
No.
So, it's best illustrated by way of an example. So we'll take as-salimu first. Afal-mudhakkaru al-jam'u. Right? In Arabic it's called jam'ul mudhakkari as-salimu. Right? Jam'ul mudhakkari as-salimu, which means the sound male plural. So what is al-jam'ul mudhakkar as-salimu? This category here, what is it? So where we have a normal ismun, such as muslimun. Okay? Muslimun. What does muslimun mean?
Believer.
No, Muhammad, it doesn't mean believer. What?
Submission.
No, we need to be precise. What does Muslimun is the ismu fa'il. So it is the ismu fa'ilin. Ismu fa'ilun, meaning it's the doer, because remember, every fi'lun verb has a fa'ilun, a doer, or ismu fa'ilin. So Muslimun is ismu fa'ilin of which fi'lun? Of the fi'lun aslama. Aslama. Okay? Aslama means he submitted. Right? Like the ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَإِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أَسْلِمْ. Right? When his Lord said to him, to Ibrahim alayhi salam, أَسْلِمْ قَالَ أَسْلَمْتُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Right? So Ibrahim alayhi salam said, أَسْلَمْتُ. I've submitted. Salamtu lillahi rabbil alameen. Right? And like towards the end, well, actually it's not towards the end, it's halfway through, it's on the 4th page at the bottom, the last ayah in Surah of An-Namalu, the ant, the statement of Bilqis, when she said, Aslamtu ma'a Sulaymaan lillahi rabbil alameen. Right? Aslamtu, I've submitted. Ma'a Sulaymaan, with Sulaymaan alayhim as-salam, lillahi rabbil alameen, to Allah rabbil alameen. Right? So now you know. Muslimun is an ismu fa'ilin of aslama. It's the noun of the doer from that verb. We'll speak more about this mufa'ilin in future. Right. So Muslimun. Right? That is
the one who submits.
Yeah, the one who submits. And it's the so is Muslimun singular, dual, or
singular?
Right, it's singular, it's al-mufradu. Is it male or is it female?
Male.
It's male. Right? So, what is the plural of Muslimun?
Muslimun.
Right, Muhammad. Muslimuna, right? Muslimuna. So how did we derive Muslimuna from Muslim?
The waw and the noon.
Right, the waw and the noon. But did the original ismun alter in any way?
No.
No, it's the same. The original ismun, al-mufradu, the singular, which is Muslimun, has not changed in any way. Rather, we've added the waw and the noon to make it Muslimuna, and that has made it al-jam'u, the plural. That is why, ya Muhammadu, it is called a salimu sound, Because the original has not changed. We merely added to it, and the addition has formed al-jam'u, the plural.
No.
Fahimta? You understand? Right. Now, what's important to remember about Jam'ul Mudhakkari as-Salimu is that by adding the waw and the noon, right, to make the oon sound, we've created al-jam'u, the plural, but that must be in a particular state, right? Because all al-asma'u are in a state. What state is Muslimuna in?
Jamu. Oh,
That's the number.
Mansubun.
Not mansubun, ya Muhammad. Why would I write Muslimuna mansubun on the board like that? You should know that that would never happen.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So what must it be?
Marfu.
Marfu'un. Good. So that is the marfu'un state. Marfu'un. Okay? So the presence of the waw, okay, with the dhamma is what makes it marfu'un. That's the alamatu raf'ihi. Do you remember that saying, or that phrase, alamatu raf'ihi? What is the alama? The indicator of it being marfu', we say the waw. The waw. The waw which is madamum, meaning it has a dhamma on it. Okay? That is why we know it to be marfu'un. So therefore from this, the next logical question you're going to ask is, so what are the other two states? How do you represent them, right? That's what you're going to ask, right? So, what are the other two states? How do we represent the mansubun state of Muslimuna? Because it's not in the mansubun state as it is in the marfu'un.
Is it Mina?
Right, Muhammad. Muslimina. The presence of the ya. Right?
It's like a dude.
Sorry?
Is it like the dude? With the Mansubun state?
No, the dual is Muslimaina. I'll write that on the board in a moment, right? So the Muslimina is the mansubun state. Okay? Mansubun. Muslimina. So ya Muhammad, لو سألتك, if I asked you, ما هي علامة nasbihi, what is the indicator for being nasab mansubun? You would say the indicator for being mansubun is
Ya Jazm?
the ya, which is a majzum. I like that, that's good. Right? The ya that has a sukoon on is the indicator for being mansubun. So that just leaves the third state, which is
Muslimina.
the third state, which is
Is it not Muslimina?
no. What is the third state?
Majroor.
Majroorun. Majroor. Why have I written majroorun here? I want to write majroorun there, Muhammad. It's majroorun. That's the third state. So how do you represent majroorun here? It is
Mina.
Muslimina. It's the same. How did you know it was going to be the same?
I just followed from the dude.
Right, good. Right, that's good, Muhammad. I like that. So it's the same. So لو سألتك يا محمد ما هي علامة جره? If I asked you what is the indicator for it being jar majrur, you would say,
Ya.
say it, alamatu jarrihi,
Alamatu jarri. Ya.
majzoom.
Majzum.
Right? So, that's the majrurun state. Okay? So we have three, just like any normal ismun, but two of them are the same. Now, which is mansub al majrur. You asked earlier on about the dual. Don't confuse the dual in the mansubun and the majrurun state with the plural in the mansubun and the majrurun state. Why? Because they look the same when they don't have the harakat on them. Meaning, it's musli, right? Muslimayna. So what's the difference?
It's just a fatah.
The fatha on the meme, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, it's the same.
Yeah.
So when you're reading a text, particularly a normal Arabic book or a newspaper, and you see that word without the harakat on it, which is the norm, then you have to determine, right, is it now speaking about the plural al-jam'u or the dual al-muthanna?
You have to look at the text.
Yes, you have to look at the context. I mean, it won't be really that difficult, but something to be aware of. Now, the salimun, therefore, the sound form of al-jam'u al-mudhakkaru is that we add to the end. Now, there are numerous other types of plural which are sound, okay, which are male. For example, mu'minun, a person who believes, right? Mu'minun. So, because mu'minun is of this category, the plural is in the marfu'un state
Mu'minuna.
mu'minuna, and in the mansuban and the majrurun state
Mu'minina.
mu'minina,
Mu'minina.
right? And generally, human plurals will form, will be of this category, as-salim. Human plurals, such as right, talibuna from talib, muallimun, a teacher, becomes muallimuna and muallimina, right? Mudarrisun, a teacher, is mudarrisuna and mudarrisina. Katibun, a writer, is katibuna and katibina, and so on and so forth. But not all of them. Not all of them. Right? For example, rajulun.
Iman.
Rajulun, a man, the plural is
Rajulani.
rijalun.
Rajala.
Rijalun. So not all of them. Okay? But the majority are like that. Right? Is that clear? Right? So that is the plural, which is male, which is sound. So now we need the plural, which is female. Oh, I should have mentioned. No, that right. So now we need the plural, which is female and sound. Okay. So we'll use our example of Muslimun. How do we say a female Muslim?
Muslimatun.
Muslimatun. Okay, Muslimatun. Muslimatun. With the ta marbuta at the end. Right? So now we have the sound female plural. Okay? So, how do we form the sound female plural? Ya Muhammad.
Muslimatuna.
No, almost.
Thani.
No. Muslimatun. Muslimatun. With an alif and a ta. Muslimatun, muslimatun. So how we formed the sound female plural by the alif and ta. The art, right? So we dropped the ta marbuta and we added the alif and the ta. And what state is muslimatun in ya Muhammadu? Marfu'un. That was easy, right? Because it's on the board.
Yeah.
Right? Muslimatun becomes muslimatun, and that's a marfu'un state. So, what is the mansubun state?
Muslimitun.
What? Muslimitun. Does that even sound correct, muslimitun? Remember, one of the rules of Arabic is it has to sound correct. Muslimatin. There you go. It's muslimatin. The mansubun state of muslimatun is muslimatin. Right? Is that clear?
Yeah.
So, what therefore is the majrurun state? And you should be able to work this one out.
Muslimatin.
Good, it's the same. Muslimatin. Right? So, the Mansuban and the majrurun state is the same, just like for the male, right? In addition to that, human females will usually be of the sound plural type, right? So we will have, for example, female believer is
Muslimatun.
No.
Mu'minatun.
Mu'minatun. Mu'minatun is singular. Mu'minatun is plural in the marfu'un form. Mu'minatin in the mansubun and the majrurun state. Similarly, a female teacher is
Mu'allimatun.
Singular is mu'allimatun. The plural is mu'allimatun. A girl is bintun, singular. The plural is banatun. Right? A single mother is ummun. The plural is
Ummatun.
no, ummuhatun. Remember? Right? Ummuhatun. And so on and so forth. One of the differences between the male and the female sound plural is that with the female sound plural, that also includes many objects, non-human, such as right, sayyaratun becomes sayyaratun. Yeah, we need to fix that. Sayyaratun. Right?
Shajaratun.
No, that is the female plural is different into that. But, and there are other objects, right, which you have to be aware that plural is ends with the atun, but not all, obviously, like the example that you just mentioned. Shajaratun is ashajarun, and there are others. So what I should have mentioned regarding the plural is that the only way to learn what the plural is to learn what the plural is. I know that's an obvious statement, but there's no rule of working it out.
Okay.
Right? You have to know, just like you know that the word for door is babun, and the plural is abwabun. So you read that word, and you know that the plural is abwabun. So whether you hear it being spoken or you read it in a text, then you remember. Right? So that is the sound male and female plural. And that's relatively easy, that one. Right? Then we have the next one, which is the broken. Okay, so we've completed the sound. Now we are going to speak about the broken plural. So, at-taqsir, the broken plural. Now, the broken plural, whether it's male or female, right, is the same. They follow certain patterns, right? They will follow certain patterns. So there's a number of patterns. Let's see if we remember. The first one is on the pattern of af'alun, right? Now, when the grammarians use patterns, they're always based upon the verb fa'ala. Right? Fa'ala means he did. Okay. The verbal noun that we extract from fa'ala is fi'lun.
So the one who did.
No, that's the fa'ilun. The doer. What does fi'lun mean? Action. Right? Fi'lun, it means action. Okay? So plurals are based upon these patterns. Okay? So the first one is af'alun. Right? Which is a plural, it's a plural of fi'lun, but it's one form. So, af'alun, ya Muhammad, can you think of an ismun whose plural is on that pattern? Af'alun. Shall I give you a clue?
Rijalun? Is it close? No?
That's not anywhere near close, Muhammad.
Yeah, give me a clue.
It's the plural of a boy.
Waladun.
Right. Okay. So waladun is the singular, isn't it? Waladun.
No.
Waladun. And the plural is?
Waladun.
No, it's on that pattern.
Oh,
Think about it. Af'alun and?
Awladun.
Good. Awladun. MashaAllah. It's awladun. Awladun. Can you see how awladun sounds like af'alun? Can you see that? Right? So we went from waladun, which is singular, to awladun, which is boys, sons or children. Right? Like in the ayah in Surah Nisa, Yusikumullahu fi awladikum. Allah enjoins certain matters upon you with regards to your children, with regards to inheritance, the ayah. So, awladun is on the pattern of af'alun. Right? Another example is nahrun, which means, well, there are many, but we're not going to do them all. That wouldn't be possible. Nahrun means
I don't know. I don't think I've come across it.
how many times have you read an ayah similar to وَجَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارِ? Nahrun, a river. So, Ya Muhammad, if Nahrun is a river, the plural on that form is?
Anharun.
Good, Anharun. You see? Anharun is the plural.
Is there a way,
No.
there's no way,
No.
no way if it's going to follow which pattern?
No, as I mentioned, this is an excellent example of an actualization of the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-ilmu bit-ta'allum." Knowledge is acquired through learning. There is no way of determining what the plural is going to be until you learn it, and then you'll notice it follows one of these patterns. So, the next one is fu'ulun. 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 Right? So, fu'ulun. Okay. What's the word in Arabic for a king, Ya Muhammad?
Malikun.
Malikun. Right? Malikun. So the plural is?
Mulukun.
The plural is mulukun. Good. I like that. Mulukun. Mulukun. That is the plural mulukun. Right? So went from malikun on the pattern of fu'ulun, we arrived at mulukun. Okay, one more example. What is the word for head? A head. Ra'sun. Ra'sun. The plural of ra'sun is?
Ru'asun.
No, on this pattern, fu'ulun.
Ru'usun.
Good. Ru'usun. Ru'usun. Right? Ru'usun. Number 3. The next pattern is fi'alun. Right? So what's the word in Arabic for a mountain?
Jabalun.
Right, Jabalun. Jabalun. So the plural of Jabalun is on that pattern?
Jibalun.
Jibalun. Jibalun. Okay, Jabalun to Jibalun. The word for sea is?
No idea.
Bahrun. Bahrun. So the plural is?
Biharun.
Biharun, right. So we went from Bahrun, a sea, 2 biharun, seas, on the pattern of fi'alun.
What do those mean? Number 1, number 2, number 3, like?
They're all plurals of fi'lun.
Do they mean, alright, they're all plurals of fi'l?
Yes. As these are all plurals, they all represent a plural form.
But do they mean anything?
Fi'lun means action.
So they just mean many actions, basically.
Actions. Each one means actions. They may have a meaning slightly different beyond that, wallahu alam, but they all. Al-Bukhari, remember, Al-Imam Al-Bukhari, rahimahullah, he wrote a famous book, Khalqu Af'alul Ibad, which means Af'alul Ibad means the actions of Al-Ibad, the slaves, the created actions of the slaves.
So fi'lun can basically, you can write it in all 3 states.
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Okay, to write, okay.
Right? So the 4th plural form is fu'ulun. Fu'ulun. So this one's easier, Muhammad. A book is
Kitabun.
Kitabun. And the plural is
Kutubun.
Kutubun. Kutubun. Okay? Kutubun. So that's on the plural, fu'ulun. And there are others. Jadidun. What does jadidun mean?
Jadidun. Presence.
Jadidun means new. Jadidun means new. Right? Jadidun. So the plural of new, right?
Jududun.
Jududun. Hamirun means a donkey. The plural is on this form. And the plural is?
Hurun.
Humurun.
Humurun.
As in the ayah, كأنهن حمر مستنفرة فرت من قسورة. Right? As though they are donkeys. فرت من قسورة. Fleeing from a lion. In reference to those people who, when they hear the words of Allah, they flee. Right? So, kutubun, humurun, jududun are all on the form of fu'ulun. But we should have mentioned, so Muhammad, what state are these plurals in?
Marfu'un.
They're all marfu'un. Right, good. And we'll get to just do the last one, which is af'alun. Actually, that's af'alun. Right. So, the singular of month is shahrun.
Ash'urun.
The plural is
Ash'urun.
ashhurun. Al-hajju ashhurun ma'lumat. Right? Ashhurun. Plural of months. Ashhurun. Rijlun. What does rijlun mean? Leg. So, like in the ayah, أَمْ لَهُمْ أَرْجُلٌ يَمْشُونَ بِهَا in Surah Al-An'am. Right? Rijlun means a leg.
Rijlun is a.
Actually, that's in Surah Al-A'raf. Right? Rijlun means a leg. Arjulun means legs. Right? You look concerned, Ya Muhammad.
No.
رجل أرجل.
So which one would yadun for?
يد أيدي أيدي.
Which one's that?
We'll come back to that point in a minute, right? So, these are all marfu'un, right? These are all marfu'un. And do you know that they're marfu'un because?
Of the Dhamma.
Because of the Dhamma on the end. Right? So, in order to make them mansubun, this one's easy, you see. The taksir, the broken, female and male plural, their endings are the same as
if they're normal.
As a normal al-mufradu. Okay, in that.
So anharun would be.
There are other plurals because there are different forms. There are others such as aqwiya'u, the plural of qawiyun. Aqwiya'u, which their ending does not. They're all mamnu' min as-sarf. And miftahun, mafatih, mafatih. Masjidun, masajidu. That plural, but I'm trying to think what the original form is. But right, we'll just mention that because it's important. Right, masjidun. Right, masjidun. The plural is masajidu. Masajidu. That is mamnu' min as-sarfi. Right?
What does that mean, mamnu' min as-sarfi?
It means that it never becomes majroor.
It never becomes majroor.
With a kasrah.
Okay.
You know this, you were present in that lesson. Unless it's the mudafun in an idafa, remember? Right? Masajidu. Similarly, da'ifun. Da'ifun, which means weak. Du'afa'u. Du'afa'u.
What if they come before harf al-jar? Do they become majroor then?
Only with the fatha.
Only with the fatha?
Yes.
Okay.
Were you not present in that lesson, mamnu' min as-sarf?
I have no idea.
Right, then you need to revise that. But I need to check what the original form of these are. Right, because I'm not entirely sure. And there are lots actually. But the point to note is that all of these change like a normal ismun. So anharun becomes anharan and anharin, ra'usan, ra'usin, jibalan, jibalin, and so on and so forth.
There's something I'd like to say. Is it the ones with one dhamma at the end that don't change? And if they go into majroor, they change it?
Sorry, with one?
It's like, masajidu, da'a,
Du'afa'u.
du'afa'u. They've got one.
One dhamma at the end.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, no, but that's part of them being mamnu' min as-sarf.
Yeah, does that indicate it? I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, but remember, ordinarily in a normal text they wouldn't be written anyway.
True.
Would they? So you can't use that. You just have to know that that plural is mamnu' min as-sarf. Right? And the example that you mentioned, yadun, aydin, That's an interesting one because the plural of yadun, hand, is aydin. It's always aydin.
Can you write it so I can get into my head?
So the plural of yadun is aydin. You see, it's always in that state. So it's outside of these rules. But there are very few that are like yadun. Right? That's the plural aydin. And again, I'm not sure what the original pattern of that is, but the point to note about a taqsir is that it is called broken. Why? Because you've taken the original ismun and in effect you've broken it and rearranged the letters, maybe added one or two in order to form the plural. That's why it's called a taqsir. Right? Now, as I said, that is the same whether it's male or female. So, right, the plural of shajaratun, in fact there are two, at least two plurals that I'm aware of. One is ashjarun, which fits this pattern, ashjarun, and the other one is shajarun, shajarun, which I don't think we've got on here, but there you go, there's another one, shajarun, right, ashjarun and shajarun, right?
Lot of patterns.
Yes, but the point to note is that they're not really difficult because, as I said, when you read the word or you hear it being spoken, you will add it to your list of vocabulary, just like you do a normal word. And then after a period of time, you become comfortable predicting what the plural is going to be. Right? So that is, in summary, our lesson on al-jam'u, the plural, whether it's al-mudhakkar, the male, al-mu'annath, the female, whether it is a salimu or a taqsiru.